Last week I released a video of part 1 of this documentary. It was the first leg of the trip, and now this is the second leg, so we're going to the other school. So if you haven't watched part 1 of this vlog, I recommend you check that out. There's been a good response to the part 1, which I appreciate, so hope you guys enjoy part 2. All right, so we're starting the day off. Little camera build, time-lapse. I really love the time-lapse function on my iPhone. It's really cool. I was borrowing an easy rig for the last leg of the trip because mine went out for repair. Mine conveniently came back the day before the trip. I put the camera on and bam, it broke instantly. Luckily, we still had the same easy rig I was using last week, but that was a really big bummer. I didn't let it piss me off too much, but not a good start. Anyways, then we quickly went up for our first interview. It was really sunny. We honestly didn't even use any lights for this. We just used modifiers. We used a big 5-in-1 to diffuse the sun to the left, and then on the right, we put up a little negative fill to create some shape. I think this came out to be a pretty good look. So for this leg of the trip, we were up in West Point, upstate New York. Super beautiful up there. One of the most beautiful campuses I've ever been to. I love my Sackler Flowtech sticks. I finally was like, you know what? Let me use one of the features. These little, I don't even know. What do you call these? You can like take the legs off. There's pointy feet, which is kind of made for environments like this. I was pretty happy about that. So right now, I was using the Sunseeker app, which I really recommend if you don't have already. You could basically track the sun, which is super helpful when you're trying to, set some stuff up outside or looking through a window and you want to see where the sun is going to be. We set the 5-in-1 up top to diffuse the sun, set up a black sheet on the side for some negative fill. I think it came out pretty solid. This is one of my favorite interview frames we did of the whole trip. Inside the locker room, it just looked so dope. So originally we had the house lights on. That's why there's a big overhead flag. But at the last minute, we shut it off. We have the key, the Amaran 300C, with 2 layers of diffusion, the grid, and the 5-in-1. We were using that method of diffusion on the last trip, and it came out to play again. I think that was a small rig 120B as the hair light. We also kind of angled it so you're getting some fall off onto the side, like on the locker rooms. We put aperture MCs in 2 of the locker rooms. I wish we had more. Decided that we should put it on the left and the right so you could actually see it in frame. That's like the only thing I wish I had more of because I thought it was super cool. I can't really share any of this footage. I don't own it. It's for a series, but if you follow me on Instagram in the coming weeks, the episode should be out and I will make an announcement about that. So then we got to go do baseball practice. That was super fun. But it was so sunny. Good views on our trip home. We went to this old tavern place. Definitely a fun, interesting time. And on to day 2, we're kind of staying right by an airport. Yeah, again, just West Point, super beautiful campus. Yeah, this was some pretty cool stuff. We were making jokes about being able to help with the light stands and the drone stuff, although their drones are a little bit different. Had to get a selfie. This was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. This was a big lunch mess hall. Everyone on campus was eating together. It really felt like straight out of a movie. And before they did this pre-lunch ceremony kind of thing, and then made a new friend. Just casual helicopters on and off all day. It was pretty cool. Set up another time lapse. So this was after lunch. Again, it was a really sunny week, so we were really doing our best to modify the light. It's pretty much rinse and repeat, finding out where the sun is. Let's diffuse overhead, get a key light the opposite side, and add some negative fill. I added a polarizer onto my camera, and that just kind of helped richen the greens, bring down the exposure a little bit in some of the highlight spots. That big white building right behind our talent's face, it was a little bit hot, nothing we could really do about it, but I think it was pretty good. And this was just a casual guy parachuting outside of a helicopter. This was happening all interview long. And then back for more baseball practice. Again, I feel like a lot of this footage is going to make my reel, which I'm starting to work on cutting up, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. Very picturesque. Big shout out to these 1 terabyte cards from Angel Bird. I don't know why they discontinued them. I have a pair of them. I love them. I think maybe they discontinued them because they're making a new one. I think that's what I read, but I've had no issues at all. So I have 2 of the cards. I do a simultaneous recording, so I shoot everything in XAVCI. There is something about being able to shoot in any frame rate to 120 all day and never running out of media, and then at the end of the day, handing over a card for DIT and only having to hand over 1 card. That is invaluable, not having to swap cards throughout the day, labeling them. And then so I also have 2 card readers, and so what I like to do is then with the second card reader, I download a copy on my end because this is one of those shoots where I want to keep the footage so I could go through and, cut some of this stuff for my reel. I said the locker room was my favorite, but damn, this might have been my favorite in this award trophy room. We really set up a nice look over here. I was really proud of this. Again, same sort of key light diffusion we've been doing. Used the Amaran P60X as a hair light. We were kind of talking about, so right to the right, there's like this little trophy case with the 3 footballs over there, and there was a little army sign over there. So I was like, let's get a little pop of light on there just to kind of pop it out. Yeah, this was a really nice look. Super clean. I really cannot wait to see this episode come together. I think it came out amazing. And then, so for game days, we always have more camera operators. So this is us all setting up right now. We had an A7S III, a Sony Burano in the wild. That was cool seeing that for the first time. My FX6 and an FX3 all sticking together with Sony just so it makes it easier for the editor and colorist. And then we also set up some GoPros. I had to take a funny selfie. This stuff is really clutch for the edit. With GoPro, at least with the newer ones, if you click for your lens, I think it's called linear and horizon, it like automatically kind of crops in and levels your camera, which is kind of crazy. Like we were even turning the camera completely 90 degrees and it was still keeping a horizontal axis. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's a big sensor, but check that out. Another tip here, I know you could barely see it, but so we were focusing on 3 or 4 players from each team. That's a lot of numbers to remember. So what I did, this is a little pro tip. So I had the team and then the 3 numbers, and then I did the same for the other one. This way, number 4 is up to bat for Navy. I'll go check that out. Had to have a nice wrap beer with the lads. And then us getting ready for another game day. It was a 3-game series. Oh, we doing a lens swap right here. More GoPros. The first day we were kind of bothered by this net and kind of came up with the idea of, oh, let's see if we could pull this back to get this out of our frame and use some zip ties, and it worked. Made a really nice look. Super clean. And then so since today was our final game day, I had to pack up all of my stuff. Listen, I had a good time. West Point was nice, but we had to stay a little bit out of town, and let's just say I'm happy we were leaving. More GoPro stuff. I was like, yo, let me get some GoPro footage for the vlog. This will be sick. Love having fun and just not taking myself too seriously. At the end of the day, this is a really awesome, fun profession where you get to be creative, tell stories. But honestly, it's also fun to just goof around a little bit. Filming baseball and just knowing these teams each day, I feel like we were all just getting more comfortable getting into the weeds. Eric has, because he's on a gimbal and that wide lens, it's easier for him to just kind of get in there, and where I'm kind of doing easy rig stuff, it's a little bit harder, but I feel like every day I was getting more comfortable just like experimenting, maybe taking a little bit more risks with shots. Because the first day I was like, yo, I don't want to get hit by a baseball. There's Matt and James repping the Burano. He had a sick lens. It was like a 60 to 600 on there, which is super dope for sports. If I continue to do more sports stuff, maybe I'll have to take a look at buying that lens. This game was insane. It wound up being Army winning right at the end of the game, winning the series 2-1. Took a picture of one of our key players celebrating. Got it in like 120. I can't wait to see how the edit comes out. And then we're back. We're on the road, and I guess I continued my footage. This is, I think, over the George Washington. Always miss that skyline. Love this city. That's about it. Oh, I learned a good lesson of don't wear a watch in the sun for 4 days. Anyways, guys, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Again, I am having fun creating content this way, and it seems that you guys are also enjoying it. Do have a couple other videos that might be back to, my old kind of classic YouTube sit-down sort of style. I'm gonna cheers you guys. Cheers. Bye.